The crackle of 47 Harley-Davidsons echoed across the parking lot of the Vista Point restaurant like rolling thunder. Conversations stopped. Mothers clutched their children. And it was at that exact moment that Marcus collapsed. An elderly German shepherd, 13 years old, ribs jutting beneath matted gray fur. His eyes closed on the hot asphalt of a Wednesday afternoon as his body simply gave out. Marcus didn't run. He didn't try to fight. He just collapsed. Big Tom Sullivan swung off his Harley first, 58 years old, a military insignia tattooed on his throat. His face was a road map of scars, a testament to a man who had seen too much. And when he saw that gray body on the pavement, something in his eyes shifted. "Rake, check that dog," he said to his second-in-command, unlacing his leather boots. Rake sprinted, knelt, felt for a pulse, a breath, any sign of life. "He's breathing, but just barely. Skin and bones. He's got injuries, old and new." Big Tom approached like a man moving in slow motion. His fingers that had killed in war and saved lives in peace, touched the dog's head, with the gentleness of a father stroking his child. He felt for the collar. It was cheap, worn plastic, but the metal tag shone. 2 names engraved. James plus Marcus. Big Tom stopped breathing. "Look him up," he whispered. "Find the address." Rake typed into his phone, his fingers shaking. James Mitchell? War veteran. Died 6 months ago. In his apartment. Heart attack? The silence was absolute. All 23 bikers stood frozen. Big Tom closed his eyes. "Jimmy," he whispered. "Jimmy Mitchell, my lieutenant, Vietnam, 1969. He knelt all the way down. He lifted Marcus against his chest. The dog weighed little more than a child. "He's not dead, boys, but he's waiting. Waiting for someone who's never coming back." 3 hours later, Marcus was at the veterinary clinic, 2 IVs running into his frail veins. Dr. Helen, a woman in her 50s with eyes that had seen too much, examined his ribs with a detective's precision. "This dog is suffering from 6 months of deliberate neglect," she said, her fingers tracing the welts. "These bruises here? They're recent. Within the last few days." Big Tom leaned against the wall. "How long has he got? With care? Maybe 4 months, maybe a year, if we're lucky." Dr. Helen looked up at him. "But this dog isn't dying from illness. He's dying of resignation." "Resignation?" Rake asked. "He's simply given up on life, refuses food, won't play, doesn't wag his tail. It's like he's waiting for permission to die." Big Tom looked at Marcus. The dog's eyes were open but vacant, like a machine that was still running, but no one was at the wheel. "James Mitchell," Big Tom said to Dr. Helen, stroking Marcus's head. "Did you know him?" Helen winced. "Yes. He brought Marcus here every month for 12 years, always together, always. That man, he'd come in the rain, the snow, with his back aching, but he was always here for Marcus." "And after?" Big Tom asked. "Then he stopped coming. 8 months ago I got a call. James had passed away. His sister, I think, called to say Marcus had a new owner." Rake looked at Big Tom. "New owner?" "Yes, a guy named Derek Blackstone, real estate developer. Said he inherited the dog along with James's apartment, and that he'd be in for vaccines." "Did he?" Big Tom asked, though he already knew the answer. "Never," Helen said. "Never came back. It's been 8 months." Big Tom rested his head against Marcus. "Where are you, Jimmy? Because this buddy of yours is dying." The investigation began the way all Iron Demon's MC investigations began, with phones, laptops, and a network of contacts that stretched from the police department to the courthouse. Shadow was a lawyer by day, biker by night. His fingers flew across the keyboard, while the other 7 hours of research revealed an increasingly disgusting picture. Derek Blackstone, 52. Real estate mogul, worth $300 million. But here's the interesting part. He turned to Big Tom, Rake, and the other 7 members of the club's council. In James Mitchell's will, there's a specific clause: the dog must live with its new owner. If the dog does not receive appropriate care, custody reverts to the trust. Big Tom leaned in. What's the trust? A $1 million trust designated for Marcus's care until the end of his days, Shadow read. If Marcus dies neglected, the money goes to a Boston animal shelter. So Derek was trying to let the dog die to inherit the apartment free and clear, Rake said. Worse, Shadow continued, I found records. Blackstone has acquired 5 dogs in the last 10 years, all inherited via wills, all disappeared within a year. One of the bikers, Diesel, 45, a chain tattooed around his neck, slammed his hand on the table. Disappeared. Yeah, but there's more. I found a pattern. Every time a dog disappeared, Derek had a household accident, a fire, a flood, structural collapse, and the dog just died. Big Tom stood up. Are you saying this man is deliberately killing dogs to inherit properties? I'm saying it's the pattern, Shadow confirmed. And every time there was a suspicious death, there was a payout. 10 grand, 20 grand, 50 grand for the shelter to agree it was due to natural causes. The silence in the room was lead-heavy. Mac, an ex-cop of 55, scratched the scar on his hand. You know the problem with this guy. No one ever officially filed a complaint. The dogs' deaths were ruled household accidents. No investigator ever thought, why does this one guy have so many accidents and so many dogs? Big Tom looked out the window, at the parking lot where their bikes gleamed under the neon lights. Well, someone's about to. The next phase of the investigation was simple. Documentation. Danny Bites, 40, binary code tattoos up his arm, got access to Derek's apartment through a buddy in building management. 3 hours. 1 hidden camera. 1 cell phone. And they had everything they needed. Marcus wasn't locked in a cage. It was worse. He was left free to be trapped. Derek's balcony measured 6 feet by 10. No roof. No protection from the heat or cold. A food bowl, still full, had been rotting for days. No water. Just Marcus, sitting in a corner, staring at nothing, like a ghost in a body that was still breathing. Once a day, Derek would leave his office, step out onto the balcony, and kick Marcus for the hell of it. Useless damn dog, he'd yell. Why don't you just die? Why don't you disappear like the others? Marcus wouldn't react. He didn't bark. He didn't try to defend himself. He just flinched away. He waited. Danny watched the videos 3 times, his hands shaking worse each time. Big Tom, he whispered into the phone, this man is deliberately killing this dog. Slowly. Did you get it all? Everything. 32 hours of raw video. Criminal negligence. Animal abuse. Clear intent. Good. Now for the next part. The media. If the legal system wouldn't move, the court of public opinion would. Danny created 3 anonymous accounts and blasted the videos to 31 local news channels, 17 animal welfare organizations, and 63 community forums. The story was clear. 1 man, 1 dog, 1 silent crime. Hashtag Marcus Needs Justice Twitter lit up first. In 2 hours, 47,000 shares. In 4 hours, 340,000. By 8 hours, it was a national trending topic. The comments, arrest him. That dog belonged to a veteran. He served one of our heroes. Derek Blackstone, Shentus animal predator. Anyone know where this scumbag lives? By nightfall, the first local TV station ran the story. Local businessman accused of animal cruelty, dog abuse, video goes viral. The next day, 3 news vans were parked outside Derek's building. By the second day, there was a protest on his doorstep with signs, Justice for Marcus and Derek Blackstone, one abuser. On the 3rd day, Animal Control had a warrant for an immediate wellness check. Derek received the notification, and when he saw it, he realized the world knew. Big Tom had planned this to happen in a specific place, in public, with witnesses, with cameras, and with no violence, just the truth. The Vista Point restaurant, where Marcus had collapsed, was the perfect symbolic location. Derek was in the middle of a business lunch when his phone started blowing up. Texts from clients. We saw the video. Contract canceled. Text from his mother. What have you done? Text from his lawyer, "You need to turn yourself in. Now." He tried to slip out quietly. He couldn't. 200 bikers surrounded the restaurant. Not in the way movies show it, not with aggressive posturing, just silently, a wall of leather and steel, waiting. Big Tom swung off his bike, wearing his full colors. Iron Demon's MC cut, the scar on his throat gleaming. Derek saw him and tried to bolt. "We're not gonna touch you," Big Tom said, his voice like ice. "Not a single hand." 3 journalists appeared, cameras rolling. A police cruiser pulled up, but the officer, like the journalist, just watched. Derek tried to push forward again. The wall of bikers didn't budge, just stood in his way. Passive, immovable. "Here's what's going to happen," Big Tom said, holding up a manila folder. "You are going to turn to those cameras, and you are going to confess to every crime, every dog, every count of fraud." "No," Derek said, laughing. "I'm not doing anything. You're bikers. No one will believe you. My lawyer will tear this apart in discovery." Big Tom smiled. It wasn't a pretty smile. "We have video of you beating Marcus. We have the records of the 5 dogs you inherited, all dead under identical circumstances. We have proof you paid to bury the investigations. We have the names of every shelter that took your money." Derek went pale. "And more importantly," Big Tom continued, "we have 400,000 people on Twitter looking at your face right now. 400,000 people who know your name, your address, and what you did." A camera zoomed in on Derek. He saw himself on the reporter's live feed. "If you don't confess, right now, in front of these cameras, these reporters, this entire city, what do you think happens when you get to prison? A known dog abuser?" Derek trembled. "I confess," he whispered. "Louder," Big Tom ordered. "I confess. I abuse animals. I commit inheritance fraud. I paid to bury investigations. I deliberately killed 5 dogs to inherit property. I am a criminal." The camera captured every word. When the police finally stepped in and cuffed Derek, the crowd of bikers applauded not with anger, but with the sound of justice. If you believe loyalty still means something, that even an animal deserves protection and honor, subscribe to this channel right now. Leave a comment. What would you have done? The court moved quickly. The evidence was indisputable. The videos were damning. The on-camera confession was binding. 18 counts. Aggravated animal cruelty, inheritance fraud, conspiracy. The judge, a woman who owned 3 rescue dogs herself, sentenced Derek to 21 years in prison. A permanent ban on ever owning an animal again. Restitution of $2,000 for every dog he'd abused, $10,000 total, donated to animal welfare organizations. And as Derek was led away, an interesting detail emerged. Nobody in prison likes a dog abuser. Word was already spreading on the inside. Derek was a target, not because of the bikers, but because even convicts have a code. He would never walk free again. But Derek's story ending in a cell wasn't the end of the story. The end of the story was Marcus. For the first few days, the dog refused food. His organs were too damaged from 6 months of neglect. His muscles had atrophied to the point where he could barely move. Dr. Helen made no promises. His heart is weak, his lungs are damaged. He could go at any time. Big Tom spent 8 hours a day by Marcus's side, hand-feeding him, speaking softly. "Jimmy, your buddy is here. He's with me. Can you let him go? Can you let him live?" And slowly, impossibly slowly, Marcus began to change. Week 1, he started drinking water. Week 2, he ate half a bowl of food. Week 3, his tail moved, just once, but it moved. Month 1, his eyes had a spark again, like someone had turned the lights back on. Month 2, he walked 10 yards. Month 3, he smiled. Yes, dog smile. Marcus smiled. Marcus weighed 62 pounds. He should have been 75, but he was getting there. His coat was shiny again. His scars were still visible, but they were now stories of resilience, not of defeat. The Iron Demons MC set up a memorial in their clubhouse, a reframed photo of James and Marcus from 12 years ago in better days. Beneath it, a brass plaque. Here rests the memory of James Mitchell, veteran. Here lives Marcus, his companion, because loyalty is the last right of the honorable. Marcus had his own bed in the clubhouse, his own bowls, his own spot, and every first Tuesday of the month Big Tom drove him to a specific cemetery. He would place flowers on James Mitchell's grave, and Marcus would rest his gray muzzle on the headstone, as if he were still talking to his friend, as if he had never stopped waiting. A reporter asked Big Tom months later, "How can you look so rough on the outside, but be so compassionate toward a dog you could have just let die?" Big Tom answered, stroking Marcus's head, "You see this dog? People like Derek see a disposable animal. Regular people see a cute dog. But me, I see someone who loved somebody so much that he chose to die close to that love rather than live without it. I see loyalty, silent sacrifice." Big Tom lifted Marcus into his arms. "And people like us with the scars, the tattoos, the loud bikes, we understand sacrifice. We understand loyalty. We understand honor. Because we've seen death. We've seen injustice. And we choose to stand up for those who have no voice." He kissed Marcus's head. "So when someone says bikers are bad, that we're dangerous, that we're heartless," I point to Marcus, and I say, "This is who we really are." Marcus wagged his tail, once, slowly, but with all the strength of his healing heart. Because sometimes heroism doesn't come from looking like a hero. It comes from showing up when no one else will. It comes from honoring those who are gone by protecting those who are left behind. It comes from a dog who chose to die close to love rather than live far away from it. And from the bikers who recognized exactly what kind of courage that was. If you believe loyalty still means something in this world, that even those who look the most dangerous can have the purest heart share this story. Because Marcus deserved to finally be heard, and James deserved to know his buddy would never be alone.